Moving on with finance and consumer mathematics, we're going to look at loans. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to compute the monthly payment for an add-on interest loan, compute the new balance and finance charge for an unpaid balance, and compute the finance charge for an average daily balance loan. We will begin by looking at add-on interest. Many loans are paid off in installments or periodic payments. The most common is monthly payments. An add-on interest loan computes the periodic payment required for a loan where the simple interest is added to the loan amount. So to find a payment, you're going to do the principal plus the interest divided by n, or the number of payments. So again, that's p plus I all over n. So let's take a look at some add-on interest examples. Suppose $2,000 is borrowed using an add-on interest loan with an interest rate of 5% over 4 years. What would the monthly payment be? Remember, our formula is payment equals the principal plus the interest over the number of times. And that interest is your simple interest. And remember that I equals PRT. So, in looking at our first one, we need to first find what is that simple interest. So what is I? So you're going to do your $2,000 times your rate, 0.05, times 4 years. And if you put that in your calculator, you should get 400. So we have an interest of $400. Now we can figure out our payment. So you're going to do your principal of $2,000 plus your interest of $400 over how many payments there would be. Well, if it's 4 years, 12 months in a year, so then I'm going to have 2,400 over 48. And when you finish that division, you should get $50 per month. So let's look at another one. A furniture purchase of $2,500 was financed with an add-on interest loan for over 18 months at 9% interest. What will the monthly payment be? Again, you want to find the interest first. So we're going to do principal of 2,500, rate of 9%, and our time here is 18 months. So remember that it has to be in terms of years. So I'm going to put 18 over 12. When you do this multiplication, then you will get $337.50. To find our payment, we're going to add, so 2,500 plus 337.5 over 18 months. That's going to leave us with 2,837.5 divided by 18. And that gives us 157.64. So $157.64 per month. So I would like for you guys to try an example here. So let's say that you take out an add-on loan for $720 for 2 years at an interest rate of 18%. What will be your monthly payment? I would like for you to pause the video here and try this problem, and then come back and you'll see the answer. Now we will look at unpaid balance. So another application of simple interest involves the computation of finance charges on the unpaid balance of a loan or credit card. So the basic outline of this is the previous balance plus the finance charge plus the new charges minus any payments or refunds equals your new balance. For unpaid balance, we compute the finance charge of a balance by using the simple interest formula I equals PRT, where P is the principal and R is the rate, and our time is going to be 1/12 because we're going to be looking at monthly. So here we have a balance at the end of January of $3,000, and during the month of February, you make a payment of $250 and a purchase of $75. We're going to compute the new balance at the end of February and the finance charge on this new balance, assuming there's an 8% APR. So just to try to keep these problems lined up the same way, I've pulled over what it looks like as we're doing this. So our previous balance was $3,000. The finance charge is that simple interest. So to get this finance charge, and I'm going to come over here. So we've got I equals PRT for that finance charge. And we're going to do 3,000 times the 8% interest times 1/12. And this gives us $20. So our finance charge is $20. Then we have our new charges. So our new charges says that there was a purchase of $75 and a payment of $250. Now we can get our new balance. So we should be adding and then subtracting that payment. If you put that in the calculator, you should get $2,845. Now, if I'm looking for, so that is, I'm sorry, before we move on, the bill for February. Okay, now I want to also find what is the finance charge on this new balance. So I would do I equals PRT on this new balance. So 2,845 times 0.08 times 1/12. And if you put that in your calculator, you should get 1897. So I would like for you guys to try an example. The annual interest rate on a credit card is 18%. And the unpaid balance at the beginning of last month was $600. So this is our unpaid balance. Since then, a purchase of $130 and a payment of $170 were made. Use that unpaid balance method and figure out what is the credit card bill for this month and what would be the finance charge on that new balance. You can pause the video here, and when you come back, you will see the answer. So here you can see that problem worked out and split up into individual pieces. And the bill for this month would be $569, with the interest on that new month being $854. Now we move into average daily balance. So looking at how we complete average daily balance, most credit cards compute the monthly finance charge based on the average daily balance for the month. So this method requires the account balance to be computed for each day of the billing cycle, and then the average of these values is computed, and then the simple interest formula is used to determine the finance charge. So again, I'm just breaking down those steps. The first thing you're going to have to do is add the outstanding balance for each day of the month. the second thing you'll do is to divide that balance by the number of days. So that just means you're finding the average for the month. This means you are going to have to be careful to how many days are in the month. And then your last step, so step 3, is to find the interest. So find I. And remember that's I equals PRT. The key here for when you're working with this interest method, P is going to be the average daily balance, R is going to be your annual interest rate, and T is now the number of days in the month divided by 365. So let's take a look at an example, and I'm going to try to write out every little piece of this so that you guys do not miss anything. So here we have a card with an APR of 24.99% and a balance of $1,000 on January 1st. And then on the 5th, there's a payment made of $200, and on the 12th, you make a purchase of $50. And we're trying to figure out what the finance charge and the balance is going to be on February 1st. So I'm going to write out a little chart that way that you can keep up with this. So on January 1st, we have a balance of $1,000. And nothing is done until the 5th. So that means the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is all $1,000. But on the 5th, there's a payment made. So that's $1,000 minus $200, which gives you your $800. So then we go on to read that on the 12th, you make a purchase of $50. So that means from the 5th to the 11th, it's $800. So 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th are all $800. Just try to split these up so you guys can see what's happening here. And then on the 12th, there is a purchase made. So on the 12th, there's a purchase made. So you do your $800 plus 50 to give you $850. And then we see that nothing else happens through the end of the month, which is the 31st. So I'm going to just put a little notes on here. So these first couple days, we have 4 days. The next set, we have 7 days. And this last amount at $850, we have 20 days. So now we need to set up our problem to find the average daily rate. So I'm going to do my 4 times 1,000, and then I have 7 times 800 and 20 times 850. So all I'm doing here is my number of days times what the amount was on that day. Now if I take these and I do the multiplication, I should get 4,000, 5,600, and 17,000. Now I need to add those values up, and if you do that, you get 26,600 and divide by the number of days in the month, which is 31. When you do your 26,600 divided by 31, you should get 858.06. So this 858.06 is our average daily balance for January. Now we need to finish the problem of what is the finance charge going to be for that. So if I'm looking at my finance charge, then I need to calculate the interest on the 858.06. So I equals PRT. And remember, just as a reminder, our rate here is 24.99%. Okay, and we are working in January. January has 31 days. So I equals, our principal here is that 858.06 $88.06 that we just found. That's that average daily balance. Our rate, so 0.2499. And our time here is going to be 31 over 365. I'm going to put my number of days in the month over the number of days in a year. When you put this in your calculator and multiply, you should end up with 1821. So this 1821 is the interest or the finance charge on the card from January. If I want to figure out what my amount is going to be for February, then all I have to do is 858.06 plus 1821. And when you do that addition, you get $876.27. So this would be that February 1st balance. So let's take a look at another example. We are going to say that suppose you began the month of September with a credit card balance of $240 and assume that your card has an annual interest rate of 18% and that during September the following transactions are made on your account. So we're going to have a payment on September 11th of $60, a charge of $14 on the 18th, and a charge of $32 on the 23rd. We're going to use the average daily balance method to compute the beginning balance for October and the finance charge. So we just need to keep in mind, I'm going to go to the next screen. So we have to keep in mind the credit card balance of $240, an interest rate of 18%, and then those transactions that are made. Okay, so we have September, and just as a reminder, you have September with 30 days. So September the 1st, we have a balance of $240, and that is the case from the 1st until the payment of $60 is made on the 11th, so the 1st to the 10th. And then we have on the 11th a payment made. So you're going to do $240 minus your $60 payment, and that gives you $180. And from the 11th until the 17th, it is $180, because on the 18th there is an iTunes charge of $14. So we're going to say on the 18th, 180 plus 14. So that balance is going to be 194. And then there's a charge for gas on the 23rd. So that means until the 22nd, you have that balance of 194. And then on the 23rd, you have your 194 plus that gas, which is $32. And that gives you $226. So now what we need to do is go through and just say how many days there are for each of these. So from the 1st to the 10th, we have 10 days. From the 11th to the 17th, if you count all of those days, you have 7 days. From the 18th to the 22nd, you have 5 days. And from the 23rd to the 30th, you have 8 days. So now we need to determine what the average daily balance is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my days times the amount. Okay, if you do each of those, you should have 2400, 1260, 970, and 1808. If you add up those four numbers, then you get 6,438. And to get the average daily balance, you need to divide that by 30. So we get 214.60. So 214.60 is our average daily balance. So now we need to find the interest on that balance. So we're going to do I equals PRT, so 214.60 times our rate. Remember, our rate here is 18%, and 30 out of 365. Again, it's the number of days for that month over the number of days in a year. If you multiply this, you should get $3.17. And then if I want to find out, okay, well, if this is the interest for September, then what is going to be my new balance for October 1st? Then all you have to do is your average daily balance of that 214.60 plus the interest, so 317, and that gives you 217.77 for your October 1st balance. So there is some practice in your textbook. I suggest that you guys do that practice. That way, if you have any questions, you can ask me, and then you have your My Math Lab homework as part of your attendance for this week. Please do make sure that you do this. I want to see you guys be successful for this Unit 3 test, and you really need to make sure you're putting in the time to do those practice problems. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm happy to help where I can.